This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Bruschi.
Shavaun Scott joining us. As everyone who's been involved on this program for the last several months, weighing in on the cases that we're following, obviously Alex Murdaugh was a very big one, still is a big one, because I still don't think this thing is going to be over anytime soon as more and more layers of the onion are unpeeled. Shavaun Scott has been giving us a lot of insight, and this is your first time back on the air since the verdict came down, so I have to, in all fairness, ask you, what was your reaction?
It was just shocking to me that it happened so quickly.
Yeah.
I expected at least a couple of days, going over that. Mm-hmm. But no great surprise. I thought it was interesting. His older brother that spoke out a couple days later, and he's the one that did not testify at the trial. And he's not saying he did it, but he's saying, I believe he knows more than he's telling.
Yeah.
Which is kind of where I fall too. I'm not sure still. I mean, I can certainly understand the guilty verdict, but I'm not completely sure I see him holding the gun and blowing his kid's head off, basically. Mm-hmm. But it's clear that everything out of the man's mouth is a lie, and it has always been that way, and it's simply impossible for him to tell the truth. So I wonder if we will ever hear the whole story, if there was another person or other people involved in some way. Where did all that money go? Mm-hmm. I fall in with his brother with there's a lot more to the story, and he's not owning it and not being honest about it.
I guess the question would then go to why? Why is he not owning up more? Because it's all on him right now. The only thing that can run through my mind, and at first it seemed kind of ludicrous, but I don't think it is so much anymore, is that there's some sort of larger drug operation going on here.
Yeah.
And somebody's holding something over his head. And maybe at the end of the day, Alec is going to go down as saving the lives of some of his family members.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be ironic?
Yeah.
It really would be. But yeah, I would find that very believable, because I think that's the one piece in the state's case that, the motive, well, he's going to save himself from all this, financial chaos and all these other legal things going on. That's really kind of a dumb reason,
Yeah.
And is he really that stupid? Maybe he is that stupid, but he didn't get where he was in life by being that stupid. He got that way by being a con man and being highly manipulative. But it seems to me, if there was a weak spot, it's the motive for doing that is still rather weak. And I just fall in the camp of, I think there's a lot more to this that we just don't know.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I wonder how far it spreads its tentacles into the rest of the Murdaugh family. And I'm not saying that they're involved in some sort of family style cartel ring, but I do wonder who knows more than they're saying. And why are they not saying? Is it because there is a direct threat to them that if they were to speak out about where some of this money was coming and going from, that there would be, repercussions of more people being killed if Alec did not kill and this was some sort of a cartel hit? I could see why one would just shut up, because there's no amount of protection that will stop the cartel from coming and going and getting you.
Clearly. They can do terrible things and get away with it, and their tentacles reach far. So it's a very strange one, and I hope someday we get the whole story, but we may never.
Where do you think this goes next? Obviously, he still has financial crimes to answer for, and he's still pleading not guilty there, which is kind of bizarre, because he flat out admitted these things.
He's already admitted it, yes.
I don't know how that even plays out in court. It's like, not guilty. Okay, let me play these tapes for you of saying that you did it on national television.
Right.
Okay, case closed. Thank you. No, nothing further. I don't know where that would even go. How does one argue those sort of things, in court when you've already admitted to it?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It must have something to do with a legal maneuver that they're hoping to try to, pull off somehow. Someday I'll have to go to law school, because I'm really curious about exactly that. He's already confessed while under oath. So,
what do you think is going through Alex's mind now that he's behind bars and has been found guilty?
Wow, that's a good question. That's a good question. Because we wonder, does the man ever have a moment of truly feeling guilty about anything? He just doesn't seem to have the capacity for feeling truly guilty. I mean, he can pretend, he can, jump through the motions of saying the right thing and pretending to be sorry for his behavior. But if a person is truly sorry for their behavior, they change, right? That's why a bit of guilt is a really good thing.
Yeah.
You want people who commit egregious actions to feel bad about it. I question if he has the capacity to, I would assume that he's depressed. This is certainly not a good time in his life. He may be behind bars forever, it's looking like. But does he have any true remorse? Or is he plotting his next scheme? Has he got plans? He would be one that I could see trying to bribe people somehow into helping him escape someday. That would not surprise me at all, because I don't really know that the guy is capable of feeling guilt or remorse.
That would be interesting. What I do question is how long he will last in prison, just because he's in there with people that his family put away, that he put away for many years in this area. And that not necessarily the brightest of prospects in terms of survival for someone in a setting like that for the rest of your life. Right. And all the cons that worked for him on the outside will probably not work the same way in prison.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
The Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Bruschi.
Shavaun Scott, psychotherapist and author, as always. Thank you for joining us and giving us your insight. Always appreciated. If you want to weigh in on anything that we are talking about here on the show, you can do so. We have a phone number for that. It's 888-554-5537, 888-5-KILLER to give your thoughts on the cases, and we may discuss them on a future episode of the program. Be sure to press subscribe wherever you're downloading podcasts so you don't miss any of our episodes. Get an ad-free experience through Apple Podcasts right now. Go check that out. Even try it for 3 days free. I'm Tony Bruschi. Stay with us.